Okay. Just waiting for people to turn up. So I'm just waiting. Hello. Okay. You ever buy a lotion that you've never tried before and you smell it and you don't like it and you know you got this giant tub of it? I just bought this stuff and I don't really like it. Oh well, okay. Small problems. It's just something I'm going through right now. Okay, hello from Sydney. It's where my son was born. Alyssa Baker on YouTube. And Marilyn Kimberly on YouTube. So where are you from? I'm here in Vancouver, Canada. It's a beautiful night tonight. And I had a massage today. You know how they find a knot? They just don't let up, do they? I hate it when they find a knot because you just know you're going to be in agony. So I'm still kind of sore from that. It's really tiring when you get a massage. It's very tiring. I don't know. I can't remember why, but some reason for it. But anyway, so I'm a little bit sleepy tonight. Okay, so I'm just waiting for people to turn up before I get going. And I'm just setting up my notes here. Okay, there we go. Okay. Oh, we got enough people. We'll get going. Hi, Amanda from Minnesota on YouTube. Okay, I'll introduce myself. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go on my website, it's BratBusters.com. You can get my free behavior board, my courses. I have 2 courses, boot camp courses. You can look into coaching and our podcast. My daughter and I work together and we do the podcast together. We had a giggle fit today. She edits all that stuff out. I don't blame her. Anyway, we had a really hard time filming today. We just got giggle fit. So that's the problem with mother and daughter working together. We know each other inside and out. Okay, so let's get going with your questions. I'll do my best to answer them. This is Katarina. And do you have any tips for toddlers 26 months who don't like sharing mom with their dad? Yeah, they'll just get used to it. Don't allow them to separate you. So yeah, just don't allow, if they try and push you apart, just don't allow it. So yeah, they'll eventually learn. They stop doing what doesn't work. They stop doing what they can't get away with, but it takes time. There's no talking. It just takes time. Everyone's trying to reason with them and help their toddlers to understand. They understand things. They just don't like it. So it's not, they don't act out because they don't understand right from wrong at 26 months. They're starting to get it. They act out because they just don't like right and wrong. Do you see what I mean? So yeah, don't bother trying to explain everything. Okay, this is Kimberly on Facebook. So I have a 2- and a 4-year-old. When I play with them, is sitting with them on the floor while they play still a good way to connect, even if I'm not talking? You got to play. You got to be part of it. You can't just be a statue in the corner. You do have to be part of it. It's okay that you're there, but it's not. It's okay, but it's not ideal. You want to be part of the action. Like I said, you don't just want to be a statue sitting there. Okay. Yeah, my son tantrums. It's like he's heartbroken more than angry. No, he's not. He'll survive. He's heartbroken that he's not getting his own way. That's why. Tantrums are anger based. Yeah, so he is heartbroken, but just because he's not getting his own way. He'll survive. Okay. While we're waiting for some more questions. What time is it? 7 o'clock. Yeah, it's late for me to be on. This is Amanda on YouTube. Do I allow my 4-year-old to correct adults? For example, my mom will sneeze to hold her hand. I don't quite get that. My daughter tells her she should use her elbow instead because it's cleaner. It's not bad, but I don't know how she's doing it. Almost sneeze into her hand, and my daughter tells her she should use her elbow because it's cleaner. She's probably right. So yeah, yeah, it's not that bad. It depends with her attitude. You know, if it's something that she's just learned and she's trying to share it, or if she's trying to if she's enjoying bossing you around, There's a difference there. So you're going to have to decide, is she bossy or is it just she's sharing some new knowledge that she got and she's proud of? I don't know which it is. But yeah, I would have no problem with my kid telling me something like that. How do you get a 2-year-old to eat what I cook? Oh, I can't address that. I don't know what you're cooking and, so yeah, I can't address that. This is a good question, but I would have more questions before I could give you a good answer. This is JMac on YouTube. How can you improve mental toughness / hardworking attitude? My 8-year-old girl is so sensitive, gives up easily, and acts like everything is so hard. I don't know what's going on there, because I'd have a few questions like, when did this start? Does she have any chores? If she gives up too easily, it says that she doesn't have that fortitude for follow through. So does she have chores? Yeah, I would have her. There's no way I would not have an 8-year-old without chores. Like, did that make any sense, or was that a double negative? Anyway, yeah, just get a chores list and say, follow your chores. And that would be the rule on the behavior board. Check out the behavior board. It's completely free on BratBusters.com, and put down follow chore chart. Just have 3 simple chores. Make your bed, put your dirty clothes in the hamper, maybe clean out don't leave toothpaste in the sink, or whatever. It could be something that simple. Definitely has chores. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's one of those things that I have to figure that out. Is she afraid of failure? Do you make a big deal out of winning and losing? You know what I mean? Like, is she afraid of failing? A lot of parents set their kids up that way, and then they don't want to really do anything because they're afraid they can't do it right. So I always told my kids, if you're not failing, you're not doing it, because you're not doing it right. Because everyone learns through failing. You fail and try harder, fail and try harder. So I never really treated winning and losing like an issue. I always treated throw yourself out there and give it a go. That was always my focus. So yeah, maybe you make perfection too important. Try harder, you can get it right. Does it really matter if she gets it perfect? A lot of parents do that. They think, I'm just trying to bring out the best in them. It's a bit of a slippery slope, that one. Okay, this is Kimberly on YouTube. I'm trying to sneak in connecting with my kids as much as possible, like singing in the car, like you said. And because I said, just try and find moments. Said, you do, I think things are going pretty good. Okay, good. Everyone's looking for this big, not everybody, but a lot of parents are looking for a block of time to connect. It's not like that. You can just be singing in the car with them, playing I Spy. We always played I Spy in the car. We were always chatting. Even while I'm making dinner, I was chatting with the kids. We were just always chatting. And when they were really little, they would bring their toys in and play at my feet while I was cooking. Or else, that's kind of a pain in the butt, to be honest, because you're trying to step over a little kid. So I would set them up in the high chair with maybe something to play with there, and we'd be chatting. So yeah, I was just chatting with them. I made them part of my day-to-day life. I didn't try and find time to be with them. I tried to find ways to make them to bring them into my life. So whatever I was doing, they were kind of around me all the time. How to handle the whining and everything. I can't answer that if I don't know the age. And you have to do the whole question again, because I won't be able to because sometimes people will put, she's 8. Well, I don't know what your question was. I forgot, because I get a lot of questions on different platforms here. I'm never just on one platform when I'm doing a live. Okay, this is Amanda. This is again with a 4-year-old who's telling her grandmother how to sneeze into the elbow instead of her hand. She thinks everyone should follow rules, like wearing a helmet on a motorcycle. It doesn't bother me because I feel like everyone should be accountable. So she's that holier than thou. Is that what you think's going on? Telling everyone what they should be doing because she knows it all? I don't know. I'm kind of getting that vibe here. But yeah. Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on with her there. Is she getting bossy and, everyone should do what I tell them to do, and she's picking out everyone else's flaws? She might be going into that zone where she's just being a little bossy boots. So I might say, look, don't tell other people what to do. You just do what you do. So you might want to kind of rein that in a little bit if that's where she's headed. My 5 and 2-year-old refuses to listen to anything. Example, picking up toys. They argue back, throw fits, scream, run away. They seem to not care and continue the same behavior. Okay, so go with, I'd go after the 5-year-old on the behavior board because the 2-year-old's watching you with the 5-year-old, and put down follow chore chart. Could be something like pick up, or the rule could be pick up 10 toys within 10 minutes of being asked to do so. Don't expect the 2-year-old to do that. But when they see the bonding and connecting with you with the 5-year-old when they're doing it, and you're counting with the 5-year-old and you're praising the 5-year-old, the 2-year-old's more likely to join in. So you set an example with the 5-year-old. Put that on the behavior board. You said consequences don't matter. Check out the behavior board, read through it. There's different ideas on there. I've never not been able to find anything that works or that has potential to work. Sometimes we have to mix things up a little bit, but that would be more coaching, because I don't like to tell people what I do in coaching, because oftentimes people want to start there and you don't. Coaching often goes to different levels, but we've started out with the behavior board and just standard stuff. So yeah, I can't tell you everything that comes out in coaching, but there's something that I would normally tell a client. But anyway, my point is just start with the behavior board and go from there. Okay, Kimberly, I have been taking my kids to the little playground near my house every day. When I leave, my 2-year-old has a tantrum. I tell him no once, pick him up if necessary. More tips? No, he'll just learn eventually. You follow that up with action. So when you say we're leaving, just leave. Be prepared to pick him up kicking and screaming. It's just part of it. He'll eventually learn. You're never stopping tantrums. They need to outgrow them, but they will never outgrow them if they work. So if a tantrum gets their own way, they'll keep having them right through the teen years and adulthood. Yeah. Is it okay to climb into the crib to get an 18-month-old to go to sleep? I wouldn't do that. No, I might sit, if you really want to be with them when they're falling to sleep, sit in a chair beside their crib, put your arm inside the crib and they can have your arm. And then it's sort of semi-dark with a nightlight and look like you're nodding asleep, like you're falling asleep. That's what I would do. They'll learn. You got to go through the rough stuff to get where you want to go. Everyone wants to prevent all the crying and the tantrums. That is them processing things. So don't try and avoid that. That is the lesson. You know, the storms or whatever, everyone says, how do we avoid the storms? You don't. You go right into them. If I see a storm coming with a kid, I head right into it because I know there's a rainbow on the other side of that. Their tantrums, fits, meltdowns, screaming, all that stuff when they're mad is my opportunity to exercise my leadership. It's like that 8-year-old boy who said to me, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to have a fit. And I said to him, bring it on. And he never did. He thought, you could just see, he flipped, he just met me. Something in him flipped and he thought, oh, she knows what she's doing. Like, in other words, it ain't going to work on her. So yeah, they only do that stuff if it works. You got to head. I could have cared less if he had a fit. That's my opportunity to exercise my leadership. In other words, show that it doesn't bother me at all. You can have a fit, scene, meltdown, and tantrum. That's none of my business. That's your business. I'll be here waiting. I'll just wait for it. As soon as you're done, then we can get to work. That's sort of my attitude. It's none of my business. Their fit, scenes, meltdowns, and tantrums. They're none of my business. It's anger based. It's not big feelings and big emotions. That's not what that is. It's a loss of emotional control at not getting them what they want. That's anger based. You do not need to interfere in that. They need to learn they can't get their own way. How soon can you start potty training? I would say, 2.5 is a good age in that the success rate would be likely to be higher if you wait till they're 2.5. Some kids can be trained at 18 months, but they're more likely to regress. I didn't want that. I knew that once I potty trained, that was going to be it for me. So both my kids were 2.5. I trained my son in 1 day, no pull-ups, no night diapers, nothing. Same with my daughter, but she was 2 days. She had an accident on the second day because I was on the phone and I wasn't following through with stuff, so it was my fault. You got to follow up with some stuff. Anyway, it's in my courses, how you potty train. But 2.5 is a really good age. It's when they can really get it. And it's also, if you're a leader, the reason it was so fast with me was I was already a leader. So my kids are more likely to listen to me and respect me, even at that young age. But if you're not a leader, it's a good way to start getting more respect because it's a whole system, how you potty train. It's so cute. Stephanie DeBolt. I need to tell you how many times you've pulled me back from the edge. Thank you. Parenting can be difficult. It can be really stressful. Like, it can drive you insane. A lot of my clients are highly successful. Some of them are famous that you would know. Some of them are child psychologists, a lot of teachers, principals, and they all struggle with parenting because, no, they don't all, but obviously, you know, those professions can all struggle with parenting too. It's personal. It's different from any other relationship. You're with them 24/7. If you don't have a lot of experience with kids, they can really throw you for a loop. And it's personal. It's just different from any other relationship. Like, I couldn't teach your child psychology, but I know how to connect as a parent. I know how to teach parenting. It's personal. So yeah, you're not alone. If I can help, I'm thrilled. That's what I'm here for. I love what I do. I'm very lucky. So I'm skipping ahead to make sure you're still here when I answer your questions, because I get a lot that I can't answer. Plus, I like to mix up the ages too. What would you do with a 5-year-old who runs away from you when you enact a consequence? Oh, I could care less. So if you have a rule on the behavior board, when they break the rule, you say, oh, okay, you broke the rule. Let's go to the board. You walk over to the board. I could care less if they go with you. It means nothing to me. I go to the board as a leader. I'm following through. It needs to be done. So this is how I do it. I go to the board and I always look at the behavior board like I've never seen it before. And I go, now let me see. So your rule was no hitting and you hit. Oh, I'm all alone here. Oh, well. So the consequence was, let me see now. Oh, wash a window within 15 minutes of being asked to do so. Now is a good time to do that. So the 15 minutes starts now. Start the timer. Go and find the 5-year-old and say you've got 14 more minutes to wash the window. And then you go by the window where he knows he's supposed to wash it, right? Because you've already explained what a consequence is before this all happens. And then you just stand there. You're just a timekeeper. He is yelling at you from the other room. Ignore it all. You're just a timekeeper. You're leading. You want to lead and let them follow you. Don't you follow them. Don't follow him into his room to try and get him to listen to you. That's weak. It's awful. It's pathetic. Ugh. So just let you do what you need to do. So you're just timekeeping. Woo, 10 more minutes. La, 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 la. Look like you could care less. All you're doing is timekeeping. Then the alarm goes off and you say, oh, okay, so let's go to the board. And he's still yelling at you from the other room. He hasn't done anything. You go to the board and now let me see. The rule was no hitting and he hit. The first consequence was wash a window within 15 minutes and that didn't happen. Oh, I'm still alone. He's listening in the other room usually. So you're kind of talking to him, but whatever. He's probably thinking, what is she, nuts? I don't care. Just follow through with leadership, okay? I don't care if they're following you. They will eventually. Then you say, oh, okay, so let me see. Now he didn't do the window within 15 minutes. He might run and do it now. Too late. I would say to him, oh, you don't have to. The 15 minutes is up. And your 24-hour media blackout starts now. And that's it. Follow through with the second consequence because he didn't do the first one. I hate you. I hate you. And I didn't hear. Look, I'm washing the window now. And I'd say, whatever. The 24-hour media blackout started 3 minutes ago. And then just go about your business with him kicking, screaming, whatever he's got to get out of his system. As soon as he's calmed down, you say, do you want to play a game? You connect. As soon as he's calmed down. No, I hate you. I hate you. Say, okay, never mind. See how my demeanor is? I stay on the high road and I'm waiting for him to join me. As soon as you interact with him on the low road, he just dragged you into it. You're not a leader anymore. You're a follower. And he knows it. He's in control. Okay? So you're just waiting. Half hour later, he's calmed down again. You ready for that game now? He may never play the game. I don't care. You're just offering. You're trying to connect. In other words, I'm not mad at you. I still love you. Do you want to play a game? But there's no media. There's no screens for 24 hours. You don't say that to him, but that I'm just telling you. You don't go back on that. And then sometimes parents will play a game and then the kid, now can I have my video game? No, you've still got 22 hours left. Like, act as if they're crazy for even asking because it's 20. When you say something, make it happen. You got to be willing to do this stuff. If you're not willing to do it, they're in charge. And you'll never get where you want to go. You'll never be a leader. Okay, just so you know, I need an age with all questions, and don't do a question and then 20 comments later put 4 or an age, I won't connect the question with the age. You got to put the age and the question all in one comment. Anyway, okay, I've got to move over to, Instagram now. If you want to join me over there, it's BratBusters Parenting. If not, check out my website. It's BratBusters.com. You can see my free behavior board, my 2 boot camp courses. I have one on toddlers, one on 3 to 12-year-olds. They're very different, by the way. The toddler one is more just, I've just thrown tons of information in there. So whatever your toddler comes up with is sort of a little section on it. So, but the other one is very different. The 3 to 12-year-old is a 5-week program, how to get respect as a leader in 5 weeks, because you don't use the behavior board till they're 3. Anyway, I've got to go now. I'm heading over to Instagram. If you want to join me over there, I'm always on YouTube, which is where I film all my videos. Also, I forgot on my website, you can look into private coaching with me or our podcast. It's BratBusters Parenting Podcast. My daughter and I do it together. Anyway, happy parenting. I'm off to Instagram. I had a massage today. I don't get many massages because they hurt. Do they get easier if you go more often? I don't know. Does anyone know? It's just because I've got all these knots and everything. I've got injuries. I'm old, right? I got injuries and I work out every day. I'm just always messing myself up. But yeah, I'm just really achy now. Maybe if I went more often. I don't know. I'm willing to do it if it helps. Okay, I'm just waiting for everyone to turn up before we get going. Oh, I've got like about 100 people here now. Okay. Anyway, welcome to my live. I'm on YouTube. No, I'm not. I am on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram. I'm on YouTube the whole time I film my lives. I'm here most days doing lives. And I hop from Facebook, then Instagram to TikTok. I go from my smallest platform to my middle to my biggest. TikTok, I hit 900,000, I think 4 days ago. 900,000 followers, and I couldn't believe it. That's where I started really on social media a couple of years ago, was TikTok. So a real soft spot for that. And now I'm on not all the platforms, but anyway, enough about me. Anyway, check out my website. Again, about me. Check out my website, and you can see my free behavior board, my courses. I have 2 of them, one for toddlers, one for 3 to 12-year-olds. And then you can look into private coaching if you want, or our podcast. My daughter and I do the podcast together, and it's called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. It's on all the platforms. And I think we hit what did my daughter say? Number 7 of parenting podcasts in Canada and number 6 in the United States today. It changes all the time, right? You might just have a one that hits, and then the next week, I don't know, you're number 20, I don't know. But yeah, we just started the podcast, I think last October, November. And it's been all right. We've done 70 of them now. We filmed a couple today and we got the giggles, and she's going to have to edit a whole bunch of stuff out of there. Okay, so let's get going with your questions. How long do you work out for each day? You know, I love talking about fitness. Well, you don't know I love talking about it, but I do. I love talking about fitness. But I don't want to waste anyone's time on here. I'm about an hour every morning I work out, just do weights. And then I walk a lot because I live downtown and my feet are my transportation. Would you be concerned with a 3-year-old that has no interest in playing with other kids? Absolutely not. They are just at 3. They're just starting to interact with other kids more. Before that, they will play side by side. Like toddlers will play side by side, but they don't interact a lot. Sometimes siblings will, because they're more used to it, especially if there's an older one, you know. But I wouldn't worry about it at all. They often do independent play, even though they're side by side. They might even be sharing toys, but they're often in their own little world. I live by a daycare center, and I walk real slow when I go past it when they're outside, and I just watch the little huddles, and they're playing, but I think they're 3-year-olds there, and they're playing together, and yet they're not. They're still talking to themselves most of the time. It's quite cute. So yeah, they're just learning. Okay, this question is, and I'll tell you why I don't have a good answer for it. This is Yuka. How to get your mood back when your toddler's behavior upsets you? How do you keep your composure? That's like asking a diet center how to not eat the chocolate cake in the fridge. That your self-discipline is a muscle that you're going to have to exercise with this. You can be upset, but you don't want to show it. Like I used to work with delinquent teenagers. And believe me, if anyone's going to make you mad, it's them. They know how to push buttons. They're very good at it. And when you're first getting respect, getting the rapport, the relationship going with them, they'll push buttons. And I knew enough not to ever show anger. But did I feel it? Oh, yes. But I hid it. Because as soon as they get you angry, you're not a winner. You're not a winner. You're not a leader. Remove that winner comment. That's not what I meant. Yeah, you're not a leader if you show anger. Leaders are very composed when you're disciplining and dealing with difficult stuff. We're problem solvers. That's the way I look at it. As a leader, I'm a problem solver. When things get rough, I solve problems. That's what a leader does. The rest of the time, I'm crazy with kids. Their love language is fun and humor and play. And with teenagers, it's humor. I use a lot of humor, goofiness. I like that. It's my language anyway, so it comes easy to me. Examples of consequences for 5 to 8-year-olds. Don't get caught up in what the consequence is. It's just usually doing a chore. Could be washing a window. Could be cleaning the toothpaste out of the bathroom sink. Don't get caught up. It's not the consequence, it's the follow through. It's doing a good deed. That's the first consequence. If they won't do that, then you do 24-hour media blackout, or you take away a favorite activity for 24 hours. Do your practices apply to neurodivergent kids? Yes, they do. It depends. The neurodivergency, it's a very broad term. So I can't really give you a straight answer for that, but it's a very broad term. So generally, I would say yes. Might take a little bit more patience, but generally, I teach connection, how to connect with kids. That's really what I'm all about. And it doesn't matter what's going on with the kid, usually, like what they've got. So autism is different. That's something that's only in coaching, and other, challenges are different. But neurodivergent, usually I would say a general answer would be, yeah, it's the same stuff. Might take a little bit more patience. Okay, this is such a good question. And I don't get asked this enough or often. A 6 and a 4-year-old sisters, how do we handle play dates? One with friend over, another feels left out. Push to share, or let one with friend play alone? You let them play alone. That's their friend. Let them play alone. They're stuck with each other all the time. Then they have a friend over and they have to put up with that other friend. So yeah, like when my kids had friends over, there was a vast age. There were 5 years between them, so it was a little bit different. But yeah, I just said, well, they've got a friend over, and the other one, I would usually spend time with the other one, or they do their own thing. But yeah, don't expect them to include the sibling with their friend. It takes away from the friend and them connecting, unless they want to, but don't force it on them. But they need to have a place to go. Like if you have one playroom and you don't have time to spend time, let's say you've got the 6-year-old has a 6-year-old friend over and they want to play in the playroom. You can't just tell the 4-year-old not to go in there unless you're going to spend time with them. You got to give the 4-year-old something else to do. So, or the 6-year-old, you could say, look, if you don't want the 4-year-old playing, you have to go in your room, or you have to go some other place. So orchestrate it that way. And kids get used to this. If you're a leader, they follow along with this stuff beautifully. If they don't, you got to work on your leadership skills. Everyone's trying to fix kids here. We don't do that. I'm fixing and teaching parents here. You set yourself up as a leader and they will follow you. Kids instinctively need, crave, and want a leader. And they're drawn to a leader like a magnet. They tend to want to please the leader. It's just a natural instinct, especially for children. You got to put the ages down or I can't answer questions without an age. Are they 16, 6, 2? I need an age. Okay. 2-year-old twin boys attacking each other, basically. You just have to separate. Just take one away. So they start to fight. You say no, and then you take one away, take them with you, and just entertain them in a different room. And you just separate them. And you say, here, you play with this, you play with that. It is hard to do. And it takes time. Lots of parents will say to me, I don't have time for that. If you don't have time to parent, I can't help you. Like you have to take some time sometimes. You have to say, okay, this weekend, we're just going to train these kids not to fight. Literally, it might just take a weekend. But you've got to train them. Here's your area. Here's your area. You could color code it. You could say, look, this red area with the red pillow is your area. Those are your books. Here, the blue area, that's your area. You could literally try that, but make it interesting. Don't just keep giving them the same junk all the time, even if it's really nice, fancy stuff. They like new and different stuff. I was talking to a client, or where was I? I don't know if I was talking to a client today or if it was I don't know what I was doing, but I was talking about parenting with someone. And I was saying, I saved all the junk. Like I saved all the toilet rolls, all the boxes, and I would make stuff out of it. They don't tend to fight if they've got new and interesting stuff to look at. What I used to do, one of the things I used to do is I'd take all the toilet rolls and all the paper towel rolls, I would tape them all together, and then I'd tape them on top of this box that we had that something came in. And then at the top, I would line up I'd turn the box upside down, and I'd line up all the little, I think they were Hot Wheels, and they would literally fit in that paper towel thing. And then that would be the tunnel for all the cars to go through. I was always coming out with new stuff, and it was just different. So oftentimes it was the same stuff, just done differently. So yeah, get creative. You got to give them something to occupy their time, or else they're just going to fight because they're bored. That's part of it too. You got nothing else to do, but fighting's something to do. So you got to have entertaining stuff for them to do. Do a toy rotation system too, so that they don't get bored as easily. I'm going to read out my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Number 1, child-proof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2, set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. I got lots of videos on all this. If you just type in BratBusters, not so much child-proofing, that's more of a safety issue, but you get the idea. You gotta look to an expert on how you child-proof. I don't want to put my name on child-proofing because it's not my expertise. Set up a toy rotation system. There's lots and lots of videos on that if you want to know how to do it. Number 3, connect with toddlers in their world, not yours. You don't go to the nail salon to connect with a toddler. You go to the park and roll down the hill with them. You always connect in their world. They look at you differently. Number 4, discipline a toddler in their world. They're not about words. They're about actions. Everyone's trying to make their toddler understand, it hurts mommy when you hit her, right? You don't want to hurt mommy. You're a good boy. I know. That is garbage. They're not listening. They're going to hit you again. Guaranteed. So you say no, and then you physically restrain them from hitting again. That's how they learn. It's all actions. It's the words are just tanking. Number 5, stop trying to figure them out. Toddlers are not figure-outable. They're brand new, fresh human beings. They're just forming. They've got one marble and some tumbleweed floating around in there. Okay, just a second. I've got a siren going by. When I said child-proofing is not my area, I kind of stumbled on that. And the reason is I don't want to give you any tips on child-proofing that perhaps are not up to date, not the latest and greatest ideas. You get where I'm coming from? I want you to take full responsibility for how you child-proof your home. But one thing I did do that a lot of parents don't do is I anchored everything to the wall. Even things that didn't seem to need anchoring, I anchored everything to the wall. Like I anchored a low dresser to the wall. Because you know what they'll do? They can pull out the drawers. Even if they've got child locks on them, they can get their toes on them. And they can use that to climb on, and they can literally pull a dresser on top of themselves. So yeah, I did anchor a lot of furniture, and that's something that a lot of parents don't think to do. They just don't hear about. I don't hear about that a lot for some reason. Everyone thinks to anchor a bookcase, but it's the lower stuff too, the heavier stuff, not the lightweight stuff. Anyway, enough about that, because that's not my specialty. Okay. What time is it? Let me see, just a sec here. Okay, a little bit more time. Okay, 4-year-old boy, 1-year-old girl have authoritative parenting style. Son is very well behaved, but fear it's not self-led only because he doesn't want the consequences. How to move towards the leader. Okay, so the authority style parenting is old-fashioned. It's not a horrible way to parent, but you don't want them to be listening to you. No, how do I put that? You don't want them to do things just because they're afraid of a consequence. You want them to do things because they're proud of themselves. That's what you're after, right? So I call that self-discipline. That's what I was after with my kids. That's why I never really told them what to do. They just knew what to do, and they knew if they didn't do it, then I'd come in with a consequence. So I wanted them to be self-led, self-disciplined, because that builds high self-esteem and pride. You do not want obedient little soldiers, because watch out in the teen years, they're going to rebel. My son was 15 and he said, I could never rebel because you're too reasonable and easy to talk to. Yeah, they can't rebel against a leader. They just can't. There's nothing to rebel against. We were a team. We worked through things together. So, but yeah, I earned that though. You got to work for that. Okay. So yeah, just use the behavior board, and you're on there too. The authoritative style, they're never accountable. Usually an authority style parent, They're never accountable. That's a big mistake. As a leader, you want to be accountable. You want to show them how this is done. So you're on the behavior board too. That's what changes this. Leaders are accountable. Boy, my kids loved it when I messed up. And I did a lot. It was usually around cooking. I hate cooking. And I hate it. I cook with hate. I just hate it. And I'm a real health food nut though. So I made everything from scratch. And for like 30 years, nightmare. Anyway, it was usually around cooking. I'd promise to make something and then I'd forget. And I was in big trouble because I forgot. So yeah, I was accountable. That's what a leader is. A leader leads by example. You're leading. You're not dictating. You're leading. It's a big difference. Yeah, you look at, I often use this example. Let's say there's the same 30 kids and they're in a classroom with an authority teacher. Teaching is very different from parenting, but this is just an example. So the kids are very good when the authority is in the room watching them. When the authority looks down or leaves the room, the kids often act out. That's the difference, okay? That's the authority. Now you take those same 30 kids and put them in with a teacher who has the pleaser style parenting type of stuff. And they're a disaster when the teacher's looking down, leaving the room. They're a disaster all around. They never respect a pleaser. Then you take those same 30 kids and put them in with a leader teacher. So they are good when the leader is watching, when the leader looks down, not only good when the leader leaves the room, but when the leader comes back, they tell the leader how good they were. They're proud. They have self-confidence. They have high self-esteem. They have self-discipline. They're proud. That's what a leader does. You make them feel good about themselves. When they feel good, they do good. When they feel bad, they do bad. We're all like that, though. When you're happy, you can't be mean or anything, right? It's hard. When you're happy, you want to spread the love, right? Kids are like that too. When they're happy, they're good. They're happy. They treat people great. When they're bad, like it's how they feel. It's how you make kids feel. If you make them feel good, they do good. Just makes sense. If you feel bad, you do bad too. Like it just makes sense. Yeah. I always want kids to feel good when they're with me. I remember one teenager I worked with said to me, "I didn't like myself until I met you." And that was the nicest thing I think anyone's ever said to me. I didn't like myself until I met you. That's what a leader does for someone. They make them feel good. And when they feel good, they treat you like gold. They feel good about themselves. That's what we're after here. That's what we don't want obedient soldiers. That's ludicrous. I can't even think that way. Why would you want a kid just to do something because you said so? I just don't understand that. I just would not want that. With autism, that's private coaching with me. They're so different, you know. I have to find out. I always call it, we throw mud at the wall, see what sticks. I need to know the history, what has worked in the past, what hasn't. Where are they at? Are they mainstream? Do they have support? Blah, blah, blah. So that would be one-on-one coaching with me. I can't give you a general answer. And some of this stuff, if they had if they're really on the spectrum and they're really high functioning, a lot of this stuff works perfectly. But there's some little things that just need to be tweaked sometimes. How to start being a good leader with a 2-year-old. Say what you mean and mean what you say. We're going to change your diaper now, and then change it. If they start having a fit, change it anyway. So follow through with what you say, but be careful what you say. Okay, we're leaving now. If you're in the park, we're leaving now, and they have a fit, leave. Pick them up, kicking and screaming, and leave. But stay calm. No yelling. And be fun too. You want to be fun. Go down the slide with them. You should see me with my granddaughter. I'm 64 years old. I'm hiking up that big slide. She's on top of me. I'm flying down there like a rocket with this little 17-month-old. You want to be fun. You connect on a different level when you enter their world. I see these other grandparents at the park, and they're on the little kiddie slide, or they're helping the little toddler on the kiddie slide. And this grandma's getting up to the big slide. I'm not religious, but I think I say a little prayer before I go down. I'm hanging on to her for dear life. She loves it. But yeah, enter their world. They're fun. Well, I think so. I think they're a riot. Still have a behavior board if your child is all around good, so it would be more just for us parents. Okay with it. You don't need a behavior board then. If there's no behavior to correct, you don't need it. So yeah, like I would never use I've never used one. I would never use a behavior board. I know how to connect. So a behavior board teaches you how to connect and how to deal with bad behavior if it happens in you too. But I already knew how to do that. So it's a teaching tool. If you don't need the behavior board, don't use it. If everything's going great, don't use it. How to reward a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old? Why are you rewarding? You mean for good behavior? Huge mistake. Huge mistake. Oh, I just feel myself getting frustrated. So many people, I think I've been told, teach that, the reward chart stuff. Disaster. Could you imagine, let's say your husband got a reward chart for you, if you're a woman listening. Yeah, if you're good, you'll get a gold star. What the heck was I yesterday? It's patronizing. It's an insult. My baseline is just, my expectation is just good behavior. I don't reward for good behavior. It's horrible. You're sending the message that you're normally rotten. If it should happen to be good, you'll get a reward. You see? Yeah, it's a disaster. Reward charts work well at school. School is a business. It's not home. It's not parenting. A lot of my teacher clients struggle with that. They try and bring stuff that they did with their students home, and some stuff does cross over, but a lot doesn't. One of the biggest mistakes that they make is the reward chart. A reward chart says you're normally rotten. If you happen to be good for a change, you'll get a reward. You see? That's my baseline expectation, is just good behavior. I don't reward for what I consider to be normal. Don't treat good behavior as abnormal. That's what you're doing. Also, the reason the behavior board works so well is it says to the kids, you're normally wonderful. If you should happen to make a bad decision, I know how to deal with it. See the difference? A reward chart's an insult. A behavior board keeps them in check. Makes them more responsible. Oops, I got to go over to TikTok now. If you want to join me over there, it's BratBusters Parenting. If not, check out my website. It's BratBusters.com. You can get my free behavior board, my toddler course, my 3 to 12-year-old course. You can look into private coaching or our podcast. The podcast is called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. It's on all the platforms. And we also save it on YouTube if you want to watch us do it. My daughter and I do it together. We filmed a couple today, but she got a really silly giggle fit. I'm usually the giggler, but she got a really silly giggly fit. So she's got a lot of editing to do to do that one. So we have a lot of fun doing it, but our goal is always to answer your questions and give you the best value that we can. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. I'm hopping over to TikTok now. And I'm on YouTube the whole time. Happy parenting. Oh, sugar. Just a sec. Huh. Oh, it went different this time. Am I on TikTok? Shoot. I think I am. I can never tell. Yeah. Oh, it is TikTok. Okay, good. It's usually 10 buttons. I think I only had to push 6 this time to transfer from Instagram to TikTok. Anyway. Okay. That's good. So I'm just going to take a little break here and have a sip of water because my throat gets dry. It's not water, it's Diet Coke. Anyway, it's my toxic waste drink. Everything I eat is super healthy. I'm a gluten-free health food vegan. I'm a freak with food. Anyway, but I drink this stuff. Like, everyone's got to have a poison, right? I don't drink alcohol, but I drink this Diet Colas. Terrible. Okay. Okay. Oh, and I just want to, not to say that gluten-free vegan is the way to go. It just works for me. Like, I'm not pro-vegan at all. It just works for me. So I just want to make that clear. It's not like I think that's the only way to go at all. Okay. So I'm just waiting for everyone to join in on TikTok, and I'm on YouTube as we're going. Whenever I'm doing a live, I'm on YouTube the whole time, and I bounce from my smallest platforms to my largest. So I go from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok. And TikTok's my largest platform. A few days ago, I just hit 900,000 followers here on TikTok. It's mind-boggling. I just can't understand that. Anyway, thanks so much for your support. I really appreciate it. And anyway, just thought I'd mention that. It's mind-boggling. Because I'm in my 60s. I didn't expect to blow up on social media in my age. You know, I thought, especially TikTok, I thought it was just for kids. I'm addicted to TikTok, by the way. I was on here for a couple of years before I ever started watching TikTok. And then I started watching it about 6 months ago. I'm addicted. It's dangerous. Okay. Someone asked for a private message. I don't do that. If you want to message me or anything, you have to go through my website. My daughter does all that. I don't have time for private messages. As my daughter looks at all that. And we don't always get to them all because we've got a couple million followers now. So we've just grown, Where can we ask questions? Right here. You can ask questions. If you go on my website, you can submit questions for our podcast too. We do themes on the podcast. This is just, I'm answering whatever you ask. But on the podcast, we have theme podcasts, like each episode is a different theme. So it's actually a good place. If you want to find out about tantrums or whatever, you might just look at our podcast. We've done 70 of them now. So we have a bit of a library of different topics. So if you really want me to go more in depth about any one specific thing, the podcast is probably the best place to go. Here I just turn up just to connect live with you. I love doing lives. I love talking to parents. I love talking about parenting. But the one thing I don't like doing, and I don't do it anymore, is speeches. God, I hate doing speeches. I did a TED Talk once. I just don't like doing speeches because I like talking back and forth. So that's the only thing I don't like. The podcast is called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. Anyway, I don't even know if I introduced myself here yet. So check out my website, BratBusters Parenting. You can get my free behavior board, my toddler course, my course on 3 to 12-year-olds. The behavior board starts at 3. So that's why it starts 3 to 12-year-old course. I will have a teen one hopefully coming out this year. We haven't even started working on it yet. I'm just really busy. And you can look into private coaching, and you can also look into the podcast, BratBusters Parenting Podcast. My daughter and I do it together, and we're having a blast. We're best friends. We work together. It's a lot of fun. Okay. Oh, the podcast is called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. If you go to my website, BratBusters.com, it's all there. Someone said, it helps me so much with my little ones. Good. I'm here to hopefully make parenting more fun. I know that sounds crazy. Like, I'm not just here to help you discipline at all, but everyone's kind of asking about discipline. But my goal is always that you enjoy parenting. I thought it was a blast. It was the most fun time of my life, was when I was parenting my kids. Right. And the teen years are my favorite. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to have fun with your kids. I want you to be friends with your kids, but it's hard to relax and have fun with kids that are acting out. So we got to get that sorted out. Okay. But you got to mix it with the connection, the fun, the play. Play and fun is their love language. It's mine too. If you make me laugh, I'll follow you anywhere. I love laughing. I love fun. I love goofiness. So do kids. They love all that stuff. Laughing just feels good. I don't remember where it was or who it was. I met someone once who said they had never laughed. Neither had anyone in their family. They said, no, we don't enjoy laughter. I said, how do you know if you've never done it? They literally had never laughed. I think this was years and years ago. I'd met this person. Yeah, no one in their family had ever laughed. They just don't laugh. I thought, wow. I don't know if that was a crippling problem or if it just was in their genes that they just had no laughter. Oh, it was fascinating. Wish I could remember who that was. Oh, someone wrote that down. Thanks. The BratBusters Parenting. Is your name Al or AI? BratBusters Parenting Podcast. Best way to help a 2-year-old emotionally through a divorce. Okay. Don't worry about the emotionally stuff. Like, what I mean by that is don't overthink it. Don't talk to them a lot about it. Just make sure that you guys never fight in front of your kids and you get along as best as you can. That is, if you really love your children, get along with your ex. I don't care what they're doing. If you really love your children, get along with your ex. The parents who fight don't love their children quite as much, because that is the worst thing you can do to your kids, is to fight with your ex. Yeah. It's awful. I taught a seminar once, and it was called Parenting Through Divorce. And I'm divorced. I went through it. And our kids were 9 and 14. They never saw us fight before, during, or after. We never did, really. Not really fighters so much. But anyway, but yeah, I taught this seminar, and I said, what I want you to do is turn up without your new wife or girlfriend or, whatever. Turn up alone, the biological parents, meet in the parking lot and walk in together and sit together. How do you think that went? Now, when they finally sat, there was only maybe 60 of them in there. And when they finally sat down, this was me at the front of the room. I would say I was mad. I never taught it again. I said, wow, you hate each other more than you love your kids. You're in public and you're fighting. What if your kids, friends, parents see you? Is this how you act? I said, you should be ashamed of yourselves. I was mad. I never taught it again. I thought, wow, they couldn't even get along in that short little span of time for their children. Because I'd said ahead of time, make sure you love your kids more than you hate each other. Come on, mature up. They couldn't handle it. Anyway, they were humiliated by the end. I was so mad. I got a lot of apologies after that and everything. It was humiliating for them. And I went after them. So I thought I probably shouldn't teach this again. That was about 20 years ago. Never taught it again. Yeah. How much do you love your kids? Quick question. Heard someone say 8-week baby should self-soothe too early. No, some of them will. If a baby cries, here's my view. I don't teach this a lot. I just talk about what I did with my kids because most stuff with babies is medical, right? How you position them to go to sleep, what you feed them, when you feed, it's medical. So I tend to not give a lot of advice with babies, but I will tell you what I did with my kids. If they cried, I picked them up. If a baby cries, I pick them up. I cuddle them. I soothe them. I keep them next to me. 8 weeks old, they haven't been out of the womb that long. They're right up against you for 9 months. And then all of a sudden you want them to self-soothe. I think that's awfully young. If you don't have time, that's different. Like if I was hanging up laundry or something, I got a baby crying, I'd finish up hanging up the laundry. Then I'd go in there and I'd grab the kid and I would hold him up against me, sing to them, talk to them. And I do that whenever I was babysitting too. I babysat a lot when I was a teenager. And I started babysitting at 11 years old. I was just a real mother type. And if a baby cried, I picked him up. So that's just my view. It's not a professional opinion. It's just my view as a mom. Yeah, I picked him up. Someone said to me once, I never got parenting advice. I was a very confident parent. But someone once said to me, oh, you're going to spoil your babies. You just pick them up every time they cry. And I said, what's your point? Yeah, motherly opinion. Yep. If a baby cries, even if it's not my own, if I'm looking after someone's baby, they cry, I'm picking them up. Unless the parent specifically said we want them to get themselves to sleep. Then what I do is I will agree with the parents, and then when they leave, I'll pick up the baby. I can't let a baby cry. It's just my thing. Any general advice for parenting neurodivergent children? It's a broad spectrum there that we're talking about. It's a broad statement, but generally it's the same stuff. It's just connecting and dealing with naughty behavior. It might take a little bit more patience, a little bit more time, but it's basically the same. There was actually talking about picking up babies, and this just goes along with what I'm saying. If a baby cries because they want to be picked up, I'm picking them up. And there was this guy on TikTok, and he's a dad, and he had this little boy. They had 2 girls, and then they had a little baby boy. And he just is on TikTok showing that he had to hold the baby face down, and the baby's face was all scrunched up against his elbow, happy as anything. And as soon as the father went to put him down, he'd scream. Then I think the baby hit 3 or 4 months old, and he says, look, he put the baby down, and he's happy. He was ready to be put down. But before that, he just wanted to be held. So yeah, I thought that was it. Kind of proves my point. That's just when they're ready, then they'll be fine. Then they will self-soothe and they'll be happy to be put down when they're ready. Because they don't do it because they're spoiled. They do it because it's a need they have. They want it. So I give them that love. I give them that affection. If you have time, you can't always do that. You got other kids especially. You can't always do that. Also, it was difficult for me with my kids. I would have been a mom who would have carried them around all the time. My kids were born in Australia. It was stinking hot, and they were summer babies. You can't carry a baby up against you. You have to sort of almost, because you're just sweating all the time. So yeah, I would have loved to have bundled my kids, wrapped them up against me, and just gone about my day, but I couldn't do it in there. It was too hot. I love your statement that my 2-year-old just has a marble and tumbleweed in his brain. Yeah. Well, No, they're stupid. They're just forming. I always say that they're just crazy, but they just haven't formed common sense yet. Their brain just is developing. Everything's new to them. Imagine if you've only been in the world for 2 years, and the first year you're a potato laying on a mattress. Everything's new to you. Like, what was I doing? My granddaughter's 17 months old. I have her maybe 2 days a week. And what was it? It was something just so that you would just take for granted. It was, I think it was the train. Oh, it was the train thing coming down, the arm for the train. Because so we're stopped by the train thing. Wow. And she's like, wow, this train thing coming. To us, it's just, well, the big boom gate's coming down because the train's coming. And she was just like, wow, everything's new. It's exciting. That's why I love them. That's why I love being around them so much. You go, wow, that is kind of neat. Ding, 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 ding. And then this train goes by. It's kind of neat, but I saw it through her eyes. Any advice? A child that takes many hours to complete chores, homework, and other tasks, 9 years old. I would put down, do your